So one step that's really important in grooming your dog is manicure and pedicure. Grooming your dog's toenails and trimming them is really hard for dogs to get used to because most people start out with clippers or Dremels that really spook the dog. That's something that I want to teach you to avoid. Get yourself a good quality Dremel. This is a cordless one. It's always easier to have a cordless Dremel than one with a cord because there's several dangers that can happen. One is your dog can chew the cord if he gets panicky. Two, the cord can get wrapped around your dog. And most importantly, what I've noticed with the cordless Dremels is if something gets stuck on there or the dog bites it really quick, it'll stop. So it's got some kind of a clutch on it, so no matter how fast it's going, here, if the dog grabs it, there's no risk of injury for your dog's toes or anything. So, real important fact. I like these adapters where you can swap out the sand disc on it by simply pulling up. And when I put it on, I push down and it's on there. This is a coarse grit that I like to use because it works a lot faster on your dog's toenails. And unless you've got a show dog and you're really trying to do something fancy, the real idea is just to keep the toenails trimmed back so your dog doesn't walk on his toenails. If a dog starts to walk on his toenails, it'll affect the gait because it tends to push the pads back and the dog starts to get a very crooked walk. That's really dangerous for your dog. So trimming the toenails is about several things. One is about the obviously health of the dog. The second is maintaining your hardwood floors and not getting them scratched crazy. And three is just overall good hygiene for the dog. Overgrown toenails, sometimes you see dew claws that are growing into the dog's skin. It's just poor responsible pet ownership, or I should say very irresponsible pet ownership. So when I get my dog used to the Dremel, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let him sniff it, and every time he sniffs it, I'm going to give him a treat, right? And then I'll take the treat and I'll even put it on the Dremel. Now some people might say this is going to make my dog try to eat the Dremel because he's associating it with food. Contrarily, this teaches my dog that the Dremel is not a bad thing. So in the beginning he sniffs it, he sees the food. Unless he's really stupid, he's not going to try to eat your Dremel, which we hope you don't have a stupid dog. But he starts to see that this Dremel means good things are happening. The second phase is I turn the Dremel on and I let him hear the sound because the sound really spooks the dog a lot. So I start to teach him that with the sound, he's still getting fed. And this is something I do for the first week or two before I ever touch the Dremel to his toes. So once you get past that phase, make sure he hears the different speeds, turn it off, and now the next phase you're going to do here is touch the Dremel to your dog's toe, just like that. Now notice I haven't turned it on yet because the second phase of this, or actually the third phase here, is the dog allows me to pick up his toes and he allows me to touch this there. See how he's taking it? Yes, good boy. And for that he gets a treat. Right? Again, pick up another toe and touch it. Notice he has no reaction to it and he gets a treat. Yes. One thing that can make grooming your dog a lot easier is getting them up on a table where they're an even height to you. So before we've talked about using a wall or a level to get them up. Another thing to invest in maybe is a grooming table. So this table here has locking legs. You can get them on Amazon. They're not that expensive. Okay, come on. And you'll see that my dog is now almost at chest level where it's really easy to do anything with the dog, like grooming his toes or anything like that. And from here, he's still on the reward phase of this, and you can see he knows where the treats are. Good boy. So, before you start grooming your dog's toenails, make sure you invest in a bottle of styptic powder or Quick Stop. So if you cut your dog's toenails too short, this styptic powder works real simply, just like a man's shave powder. We just pinch off a little tiny bit of it here, and then if my dog's toenail was bleeding, I would just tap this right onto the bleeding part and it would stop the bleeding, and then I just throw the rest away. So now that we're ready to start grooming, I turn the Dremel on. I'm going to pick up his foot and I'm going to Dremel and then treat. In the beginning, after every single toenail, the dog gets a treat. Here, Dremel, Dremel, and treat. See how, since he knows where the treat is, he always targets this pocket again. Here we go, toenail, and treat. I'm going to move around to the side here so that you can see, since this Dremel is spinning clockwise, I want to follow that pattern so that I cut down on the dog's toes. So if I have the toe in this hand, this now is a real easy way to trim the toenails without it cracking the toenails. And he's crazy for those treats. So the higher, faster you go on the speed of your Dremel, the faster it grinds the toenails down. Good. And hold the dog's toe here, and that's it. So obviously you want to do all of your dog's toenails, all 4 toes, and really importantly the dew claw. So when you do the dew claw, you want to hold that separately and Dremel in, right? And be aware that you want to get your dog's toenails, take a look at this real close here on video, that when my dog is standing, his toenails don't touch the table. There's not one nail touching the table here at all. All his toenails are off the ground. He's only standing on the paws of his feet like this, as opposed to standing on his nails, which would then skew his gait from side to side.